Hi, friend. Welcome back to the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Wartz. A quick note before we jump in today. All of this is coming from our Q1 read in the Lawyer Millionaire community, Profit First. And we're diving next into Simple Numbers and Simple Numbers 2.0 as our Q2 reads and hosting a series of masterclasses on those topics as part of our theme for the upcoming quarter, Profit Science. We're making profit and cash flow a science and helping you get it right. If that sounds interesting to you, join us for free at community.lawyermillionaire.com. Take a moment and picture your favorite client, the one who pays on time, the one who actually trusts you and listens to what you have to say, the one who doesn't argue on the billing and actually gets results because they follow your advice. Now, ask yourself, what would your firm look like if you had 10 more just like them? Today, we're exploring one of the most powerful strategies available to solo and small firm owners to growing your firm and expanding your profitability. One that doesn't require a bigger marketing budget, more hours, or a rebrand. It's the practice of intentionally cloning your best clients. Now, we're not talking about going down to the science lab. We're talking about getting more clients that look exactly like your best ones. So here's the big idea. Your client list is not just a list of relationships, it's a data set. And buried inside there is a profile, a pattern that tells you exactly who your firm is built to serve at its best. The work we're doing today is learning how to read that pattern clearly and then building a practice around it to attract more. The big takeaway here is that the fastest path to a more profitable, more fulfilling firm isn't finding more clients, it's finding more of the right clients. And like I said, the blueprint for doing that is already sitting in your book of business. Most of the time we think about growth in terms of volume, and it's the way we're trained, it's the way our human brains work. More leads, more consultations, more matters. But here's what I've seen over and over again. The firms that are the most profitable, the most sustainable, and the most enjoyable to run are not necessarily the biggest, and they're definitely not taking on anything that comes through the door. They are the most intentional. They've gotten really, really super crystal clear on who they serve best, who they want to serve, who they do serve best, and they've built their practice around attracting more of those people. If you've ever ended a long day and thought, I wish all my clients were just like that one, then this episode is for you. You know, your best clients aren't just better to work with. They are structurally more valuable in every single way. They pay on time, which smooths out your cash flow. They respect your team's time, which reduces time leakage and protects against burnout. They value your expertise. They actually ask you questions. They want to know what you think. They trust you rather than commoditizing it. And that supports premium pricing and high realization rates. And most important is that they also refer other people just like themselves. So it makes your marketing run on autopilot. If you were to gradually replace your bottom quartile of clients with clients who look just like your top quartile, wow, revenue would go up, profitability would go up, realization would go up, realization rates, write-offs would go down, team morale would improve, cash flow would steady, and your referral pipeline would be humming. A firm billing $1 million with a roster of great clients will almost always be more profitable than a firm billing $2 million with a mixed bag. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, I'm going to give you 5 clear steps, and they build on each other. 5 steps to clone your ideal clients. Number 1, you got to know who they are. Define who your best clients actually are, and define it with precision. Most business owners, most law firm owners define best clients as highest revenue. That's not always the case, but it could be a good starting point. But we need to know more, because a client who pays $50,000 a year but requires $40,000 worth of unbilled administrative time, tools and training, outside co-counsels, and case costs is far less valuable than one who pays $30,000 and doesn't require those things. So, look at your top 20 clients and score them across a few different areas. Look at profitability. What is your actual realized revenue after any kind of write-downs or non-billable time? What's your realization rate? What percentage of billed time gets collected without any friction? What's the referral behavior? Have they sent other clients your way? Or would they? And what is the relationship quality? Do they respect your team? Do they follow your counsel? Do they engage in good faith? Then those are the ones you're looking for, the ones that score the highest in those 4 dimensions. When you go through that exercise, when you look at your clients that way, you'll almost certainly find a handful that really, really, really stand out from the rest. Those are your prototypes, and everything that follows is built around them. Okay, so step 2, we want to reverse engineer those clients. We want to understand them deeply. Once you know who your best clients are, your job is to really, really know them so well that they're going to be easy to find more of them. For each prototype client, answer a few key questions. How did they find you? What was the referral source, the channel, the circumstance, the event? What triggered their need for help? What was their pain point? And go deeper than that. We want to understand who they are as people. We want to know every little thing about them, their habits. What do they have in common? What industry are they in? What's the revenue range, business stage, age, race, gender, shopping habits, hobbies, family, sports, interests, etc. Think of everything. What are their values beyond just winning their legal matter? And why did they choose you specifically, rather than a larger firm or a less expensive alternative? You will start to find some patterns. You may find that your best clients almost all come through one referral source, or that they share a particular business stage, or that they consistently have the same pain point, or name the same thing when they hired you. That pattern that develops, that is your ideal client profile. Pay attention to that. And it is the foundation of everything that follows. Now, let me emphasize something that's really, really, really important. This is so much more than your practice area. Ideal client and practice area are not the same thing. There are so many types of immigration lawyers who specialize in so many different kinds of immigration, working with so many different groups of people. Same thing for estate planning. There's mom and pop estate planning. There's high net worth estate planning. There's business owner estate planning. Okay, there's all kinds of different kinds of businesses. So you can go really, really, really hyper niche with this. But again, we're not even really talking about niche. We're talking about type of person, and we'll use that to build your niche. Okay. Step 3 then, go back to the source. The most overlooked growth channel is the one that's right in front of you, and that is your existing best clients. Your best clients move in social and professional circles that are populated by people just like them. They know other business owners facing similar challenges. They talk to colleagues who need exactly what you provide. And in many cases, they're already inclined to refer you. They just haven't been asked clearly. A direct, warm conversation can go a long way. Something as simple as, hey client, we're really intentionally building our practice around serving people just like you. If you know anyone in a similar situation who might benefit from talking with us, we would genuinely love the introduction. This works for 2 reasons. Number 1, it is very specific. You're not asking for a referral, you're asking for a particular kind. You're asking for someone just like them. And it's affirming. You're telling the client that they represent the standard that you're building towards. They represent the kind of client that you really want. I've run into an issue, and maybe you've had this before, where good clients want to refer not so good clients. A retiree with a complex portfolio to manage wants to refer a 20-year-old who's just starting his investment portfolio. Not a great fit. This is why this conversation is critical. You want more clients that look just like your best clients. That's what you need to emphasize. Now, beyond having those individual conversations, which you need to be having, think about the professional networks your best clients inhabit, the events they go to, industry associations, peer groups, masterminds, conferences, community events and groups. Where do they hang out? Do they play pickleball in the park on Saturday mornings? Where are they? And think beyond just the business things. Think to the social things as well. If several of your top clients belong to the same organization, that's a clue. That organization likely has more of your ideal prospects, and so it deserves your focused attention. Step 4, build positioning that attracts and repels. Generalist positioning is the enemy of this entire strategy. When your website says, "We handle all practice areas," or "serving clients throughout the region," or "throughout the nation," good Lord, you attract everyone, which means you attract the average. Specialist positioning does something different. It filters. When your message speaks very directly to one type of client facing one type of challenge, it resonates deeply with that person, and it falls flat for everyone else. And that is what you want, because the people it falls flat for were not meant to be your clients anyway. There's an economic principle at work here too. Specialists command higher fees than generalists, and so you can charge more. And that applies to every profession. There's a reason that the cardiovascular surgeon makes more than the family practice practitioner. When you are the attorney for a specific type of client in a specific type of situation, you become the obvious choice rather than just one of many options. Price resistance vanishes, and clients will actually seek you out. Your positioning doesn't have to be a single narrow practice area. And I mentioned this before. It really is not your practice area. It's more than that. It should be the specific client type, the specific industry, or the specific situation. What matters is that it's precise, and so that it will resonate deeply with those who are a good fit and gently repel those who are not. Many people are afraid of this, and maybe this is making you afraid just to listen to this. Because, understandably, you don't want to alarm or alienate existing clients. Maybe you've been a general practice firm in your community for a long time, and you're niching down. But in my experience, you won't alienate anyone. In fact, your longtime clients will understand, and they'll be excited for you, and they'll cheerlead you. Ask me how I know. This happened to me. Moving from a very general practice financial planning organization to focusing more on law firm owners, I didn't lose a single client for that reason. Clients left for other reasons, but we held on to almost all of our clients. In fact, clients were excited to know what we were building. They were excited about what we were doing and wanted to hear about it. So, step 5, create content that speaks only to them. And really dig deep on this. It's not just surface level 5 things you should do after your motorcycle accident. More than that. Once you have your ideal client, build positioning around them that really speaks to their life. Think very carefully, very deeply about their habits, their values, their hobbies, their interests, etc. Use the things in their lives, their problems, their language, their concerns, their ambitions. Content does something that advertising can't. It demonstrates expertise before there's ever a conversation. When a business owner reads an article or listens to a podcast episode that speaks precisely to the challenge they're navigating, like you're doing right now, notice that, they don't think this firm wants my business. They think these people really understand my situation. That's the beginning of trust. Trust is the precondition for hiring. So is it working? You're here listening to this podcast, right? Getting information, gaining trust, hopefully knowing that we specialize in your circumstances and situations. Now, content about their situation, yes. But as I mentioned before, more also content that is about the things that they enjoy, the values they have, the fears they have, the goals and ambitions and dreams and desires that they have. Get to know them as people and create content that speaks to that, right? Not just generic content, but content that's going to speak and talk in their language. That's how you got to start thinking. And the good news is this. Effective content doesn't require high volume. You don't need to be posting every single day on 5 different social media channels. Consistency really is key. If you do 1 blog post a month for the next 12 months, you will have 12 rock solid blog posts, okay? Of that you didn't have before. So don't let this become overwhelming to you. You need a consistent body of work that your ideal client would find useful and interesting. Articles, podcasts, workshops, guides, that kind of stuff accumulates over time and builds into a reputation. But let's go a little bit deeper. Cloning your best client is not fundamentally a marketing strategy. It's a clarity strategy. And clarity has to come first. And here is something I want you to realize. Your ideal client isn't something that you necessarily define. It's something that they define. Let me break that down for you. Your best clients may not be the ones that you think they are, but they're the ones that you are naturally attracting. That's kind of a new way of thinking about it, isn't it? So think about it in those terms and allow your natural ideal client to evolve. Most business owners have never actually written down or articulated what their ideal client looks like. Maybe you have a feeling. You think they're like this, but you haven't really written it down and captured it. When you take time to actually build your genuine ideal client profile, specific things emerge. Demographics, situations, values, behaviors. Something shifts then as well in how you think about them and in how you speak about your business, how you articulate your business, and how you make decisions, intake decisions, positioning, content, referrals. All of it becomes easier when you clearly know who you serve. And you will get tons of marketing ideas for how to reach these people beyond just running Google ads. Yuck. There's another layer worth exploring. What your best clients say about why they chose you. Most attorneys assume that clients hire them for their credentials or track record, but that's just a part of it. The real reason is often something more deeply personal. They related to you. They trusted you. They felt heard. They liked your communication style. They appreciated that someone really explained their situation clearly without condescension. They sensed that you genuinely cared. These are things you can't really measure very well, but these are very important differentiators. And when you really understand those things, then you can really start to build your positioning and attract the clients that you serve best. My action for you this week: identify your top 5 clients by profitability and relationship quality, not revenue. Write down 3 things they have in common, and then reach out to one of them, not to sell anything, but simply to let them know that you value the relationship, and to ask warmly and directly whether anyone they know in a similar situation might benefit from a conversation. That's it. One conversation with one of your best clients about finding more like them. And one of my favorite activities for this, and maybe this will help you, is to call clients and past clients on their birthday. It gives you a natural conversation starter, and they will appreciate it. Now, I actually have a lot of experience with this. To say that I set out to build a business to serve law firm owners would be wrong. Actually, I didn't know who the heck I was going to serve in the beginning specifically. But It just so happened that law firm owners were attracted to my business, and so I adapted to them. I mentioned this before, and some of this will happen by accident. You attract who you attract. You've got to figure out who that is and build your business around that. Here at the Lawyer Millionaire, helping law firm owners get clear on their ideal client is just one piece of a larger picture that we work through together. The goal isn't just a more profitable firm, although that is great and very important. It's a firm that builds you real personal wealth and freedom over time. Client mix, realization rates, cash flow, long-term financial planning, all of these things are interconnected, which is why our model that combines business planning, tax planning, and financial planning together is so powerful. If you'd like to explore what that looks like for you, we would genuinely love that conversation. Now, this episode connects directly with what we've been doing inside the Lawyer Millionaire community. Our Q1 book read was Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and our masterclass series on profit systems has been all about building the financial infrastructure that your firm needs. Next, in this quarter, second quarter of 2026, we're going deeper with Simple Numbers and Simple Numbers 2.0 by Greg Crabtree. Two really, really great books for understanding what your firm's numbers are actually telling you. If that sounds like the room that you'd like to be in, join us at community.lawyermillionaire.com. And hurry up, because our next masterclass is coming up quickly on April 23rd. You won't want to miss it. Well, that's it for today, friend. And remember, if your law firm isn't building you wealth and freedom, well, what the hell are you doing? Can I get an amen? I'll see you next time.